Do streamers cheat? Now, this is a question that has been going on Warzone since maybe not the beginning of time, but it's been going on Warzone for a long time. And one of the main culprits of our streamers cheating is none other than DiazBiffle. I've reacted to Biffle a few times recently, and even on those videos, I get comments on,
"Oh my god, bro, he's cheating. You can see he has aimbot, da 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 da."
So today's video that we are watching is called Cheating in Call of Duty Warzone, or is it? And it is by none other than jackfrags. Jackfrags makes awesome content on YouTube. All of his videos are very in-depth and actually very nice to watch. And I hope you don't have a problem with me watching this, Mr. Jackfrags. I feel like I talked long enough already, but don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. We post videos every single day, and also be sure to go down in the description and show Mr. Jackfrags some love. He makes awesome content, like I said. Shout out to him, and yeah, let's get into it.
Different today, we're going to be taking a look at a clip that is circulating in the Call of Duty Warzone community. This clip is from a content creator named DiazBiffle, and it was streamed on his Twitch channel on the 13th of January. Let's take a look at the clip.
Making sure I'm at 1440p. Oh,
is the game back? Is the game back?
My fault, y'all. All right, show me some. Show me something, D.
What was that? What was that, D? What was that?
I don't know where the fuck he is, to be honest.
You're both kind of connected there.
Nah, no BS.
That one, D.
It's an unusual clip, isn't it? On first viewing, it seems like at one point he's shooting an invisible player on the tarmac of the airfield in front of him and gets an armor break. This has led to some members of the Warzone community accusing DiazBiffle of using a cheat called silent aim or magnetic bullets. What is silent aim? Here's a clip of somebody spectating a cheater using silent aim from 7 months ago.
That did kind of look like that.
It allows a cheater to fire near an enemy target and hit them even if they're not looking at them.
This is very unbiased.
I think this whole thing is fascinating, and the clip itself is begging to be looked at and picked apart. So that's what we're doing today, a detailed analysis.
I like
Just
this.
for transparency, I don't know DiazBiffle, I've never spoken with him, and I don't follow his content. The only thing I care about here is trying to understand what happened in the clip. Can it be explained, and is it possible within the rules and parameters of the game without third-party software? And I've actually done some in-game testing here too, and discovered some very interesting things about the game that I didn't know before.
Okay,
I've taken the clip
maybe
from the
he
source
has
as well.
some stuff.
This is the best quality we've got. It's 963p at an 8000 bit rate.
That clip was actually kind of a little, I'm not saying he's cheating, but hopefully after the little breakdown he gives us, we can debunk everything.
What's the context for this clip then? What happened before it? Well, it's a public game of Warzone that Biffle is streaming. He's queued with friends about an hour into his live stream on Twitch. They find a lobby, drop an airfield, and he gets off to a pretty good start, netting 12 kills within 4 minutes.
Oh, that's
He's
amazing.
also playing on PC with a controller. So we're now at the start of the clip. Biffle is in the airport terminal with a UAV overhead and spots a player on the other side of the building, engaging them with his SMG. He gets a fair few hits on the enemy before receiving some return fire. He then pushes forward, reloads, runs outside, pre-fires where he thinks the player is, fires 4 shots, and gets an armor break with one of those bullets.
Man.
He takes a breather, plates up, pushes towards where he thinks the player has run to.
I don't know, man.
Window smash. Goes through the building, chasing them with the door open.
That looks
out
crazy.
the window, finally killing the player he was fighting in the building as they jumped down from the silo. And we can tell this is the same player because they've got the same skin, and no one else was here on the UAV, so it's more than likely to be the same person. The first thing I want to think about here is intent. Why did Biffle pre-fire that location as he came out the door? If you're an experienced player, you may have noticed it the first time I played the clip. Moments before, there's another ping on the UAV showing that player closer to Biffle, and then you can hear the footsteps of the player on the left side.
Seeing it now, it looks like maybe his hip fire went that way.
I'm making an assumption here based on my experience with FPS games that Biffle guesses roughly and also incorrectly where they are based on that directional audio and comes out pre-firing hoping to connect. It's also possible that Biffle thought the collection of plants there was a player, or they knew that the tree was there and that was a likely position for the player to hide behind. Now we're going to pause here and take a look. There is no player model visible on the screen. There's no one behind the tree closest to him, in front of him.
That's kind of freaky, bro.
Too thin, and you would see a player model sticking out.
Oh no,
there's
man.
no one behind
That's
the smaller
freaky.
plant here next to the tree, and there's no one behind the tree in the background. So where is the player that gets hit?
Where
we can't
is he?
see them here, so were they invisible? You may have heard about invisible skins in the game recently, but this is unlikely as invisible players in recent builds of Warzone are in fact visible within 35 meters, and they're not completely invisible either. You can see their heads floating around like this, so there's not an invisible player there.
That's
Was
crazy.
it a claymore or proximity mine that happened to go off exactly at the same time that Biffle fired these shots? Well, I watched the whole round before this happened in real time, and Biffle doesn't use any of those devices. He doesn't plant a claymore, he doesn't put a proxy mine down. It's
case solved.
So there has to be a player here somewhere in this field of view, and based on the evidence we have, I think they're stood roughly here behind the planter and obscured completely by the vegetation. Here's why I think that. First, let's take a look frame by frame at the shots fired. Pay attention to the ammo count and the position of the crosshair. So Biffle comes out, first bullet hit fire, it's roughly at the top of the planter. That's the bullet that I think hits the enemy and breaks their armor. Keep in mind that this is a hip fire shot, which means there's more spread and dispersion on where that shot goes.
Is that where he was, though?
We're going to talk about this later on. Second bullet hits the tree.
This is such a good video, bruh.
Smoke there. Third bullet, fully aimed down the sight now, hits the tarmac, puff of smoke. Fourth bullet hits the tarmac, puff of smoke. 1, 2, 3, and 4. How do we know that only one bullet hits here, though? Well, we have to analyze
because
the
there wasn't
hit
another
markers.
hit marker.
The first bullet is fired. There's a bit of travel time, and then boom, blue hit marker with an
Down in the
armor break
comment section,
symbol.
what do
And
y'all
then,
think?
If we keep going forwards,
I should have
frame
reacted
by
to this
frame,
on stream.
you can see that it only pulses once and it remains blue. There are no other hit markers after the first one. And if there was, it would be quite obvious, and here's why. When you break armor in Warzone and then hit the same target again, it creates a new white hit marker. If there was another hit after that armor break, we would see a new white hit marker and another pulse.
So he only hit
I've
one
done a
lucky
quick
shot.
Demonstration here to show you how that looks. I fire and get the armor break hit marker with the armor break symbol. It pulses once and it's all blue. I fire again after the armor break. A new white hit marker appears to indicate that the enemy doesn't have any armor, and it pulses again. Now we don't see that second white hit marker or second pulse in the Biffle clip. That means that only one of those bullets hits.
So it was
and it's
actually
the first one.
a
So if
real
that's the case,
lucky
based on the
bullet
position
then.
of the crosshair, the player has to be somewhere in this direction. They're not visible on the screen, so they must be obscured behind the planter and foliage. There is more evidence to suggest this is the rough position of the enemy player too, and that's from the final pulse of the UAV. After the armor break, the UAV pulses one more time.
But the UAV
reveals the
didn't
location
look
of the
like that.
player
That's
at
where he
moment.
was.
If we look at the minimap on the source video, we can see that they're roughly at that side of the planter.
Maybe.
The footstep sounds, of course, also indicate that a player is outside the building too. So this is my initial hypothesis. Biffle fights the player across the hallway, damaging them heavily. The enemy player then runs outside to the back of the planter to take cover. Biffle
Is that
hears
where
those
he is,
footsteps,
though?
incorrectly assuming that they're closer than they are, pre-fires as he comes out the door, but as he aims down the sights, turns his camera and shoots. His first hip-fire bullet hits the player behind the planter through the foliage. The rest of the shots, 2, 3, and 4, hit nothing but the tree and tarmac. I think that's what happened. I would be remiss if I didn't actually test this and see if I could replicate it. So that's what I did. I had to round up 23 people for this because for some reason you need that many to start a private match of Warzone. Thanks so much to all those people on my Discord who helped. You're all legends.
Definitely seemed like
the
that.
exact gun that Biffle was using, the M1912 SMG with a 9mm Parabellum. I asked my friend Johnny to go behind the planter, and I strafed out from the rough location Biffle was in to see if I could hit him at all with hipfire. As you can see, after a few attempts, I did manage to hit him this way,
finally
and
hit
on
him.
multiple occasions. So it is possible to shoot people through that
All right,
foliage
but we need a
with
UAV.
a lucky hipfire shot. Remember that hipfire has spread. As demonstrated here, hipfire bullets do not always go to the center of the crosshair, as you can see. Sometimes, however, they do. Wrapping things up, we're going to talk about the elephant in the room. You may have already noticed it, as I pointed it out earlier. In Biffle's clip, after he fires the first shot that breaks the armor,
This
you
is
can
a
see
great
particle
video, bro.
effect rendered in the game. These 2 orange flashes here that turn into 1 in the next frame. This is generated from his first bullet. If we're to go by what the particle effect is doing, it looks like the first bullet hits the concrete about halfway down, even though the center of his crosshair is higher up. And if that's the case, the bullet would have had to travel through the concrete at that angle and hit the enemy on the other side.
I don't think that's
Seems
even
a bit
possible.
far-fetched, doesn't it?
I don't think
if you
that's
know
even
about
possible.
Warzone, you'd probably guess
That's
that you
not-
can't shoot through something
hell
this
nah.
thick with an SMG,
Absolutely
even with
not.
FMJ on. So
Absolutely
again,
not.
I tested this. Johnny is standing roughly at that angle, and I'm attempting to hit him through the concrete. And you know what? It doesn't work. You can't
Yeah.
penetrate this material with that
I knew
SMG.
that. I knew that
So
wasn't.
my theory is
no.
busted, right? Well, what if I told you that the particle effects of where your bullets are going in the game sometimes lie to you?
I'm so intrigued about this video. I'm just like, bro, like, at first I thought he was cheating. Now I really, no, I won't say I thought he was cheating. At first I thought it was possible that he had something going on, but now I'm kind of like, okay, it makes a little more sense. When you slow it down and full speed and slowing it down makes a world of difference.
Just like shooting through that concrete with an SMG. But it's true. And I have examples of this in the same scenario that Biffle was in, because I wanted to test this as well. Let's take a look. So watch closely here. Johnny is behind the planter again, where I think that player was.
All right.
And I'm strafing out, attempting to hit him with a hip fire shot. I successfully connect. There's the hit marker, but my bullet, the particle effect generated by me firing the gun,
So it's
is down
possible.
here in the concrete.
That's
And
just-
there's multiple particle effects there too.
I just think
my
it's
client
just
is showing me
inaccurate.
that's where my bullet went, but the server is registering my bullet going
Yeah.
in a different direction
It's just
and hitting Johnny.
inaccurate. Okay.
I have a few other examples of this too, and I think this is what happens in the Biffle clip.
This
His
video
bullet
is
on the
so well put
server
together.
ends up roughly where the center of his crosshair is when he shoots, traveling through the foliage and hitting the enemy. But the particle effect for that bullet on his client shows it hitting the concrete. This appears to be a
Got it.
mismatch between the client and the server. And here are some more clips of me testing this and producing the same
Wow.
results. Hit marker on a player behind the foliage. The bullet looks like it goes in
Okay.
a completely different
So
place.
this is
And
debunked.
again,
He's not
same
cheating.
scenario,
Get out of my
that's
comment
a hit,
section.
but the particle effect is elsewhere. So I think that actually could be a bug in the game that maybe Raven aren't aware of, but it's worth showing nonetheless. In conclusion, I think that everything that happened in that clip is possible within the standard parameters and rules of the game. Do I know that for 100% certain? No, I'm simply basing that on my analysis of the clip and my own in-game testing.
That just
I have
has
to,
to
point
be
out here too that
crazy.
what we're
Like,
seeing in the clip is not the reality of what actually happened in the game on Biffle's computer.
That is
What I mean by
facts.
that is that he's playing at 1440p resolution on a 240 hertz monitor and getting 180 to 200 frames per second at the time of the clip. What we're seeing is a 963p resolution, 60 FPS, low quality
Wow.
version of that with screen tearing and a lot of frames and
Facts.
information missing. I
That
always
is-
like to bear that in mind when watching other
Wow.
people play via live streams or
that is
video.
so facts.
What do you think? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a
Wow,
like. If
that
you
was
didn't,
a
dislike.
fire video, man. Down in the comment section below, let me know what you guys think. So, me personally, my thought process was at first I'm like, this mug cheating, but then like as he started to break it down more and more, I started to be like, okay, so that is possible without any third party software. That's why I just honestly feel like that it's so important to do your research than just be out here calling people cheaters. Like, I mean, as y'all saw, bro, he redid what Biffle did, and it's definitely possible. But let me know, like I said, down in the comment section what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support that you've been showing on the videos as of late. It is your boy Robin, and I will catch y'all on the next video.